Hello, welcome back, and today we are going to be doing Inktober. Now, if you clicked on this video, you obviously know what Inktober is, but for the small few of you who don't know, Inktober is a 30-day art challenge where you draw one challenge every day. It's meant to help art block and help inspire everyone. Every year, there's a list of official prompts released, which is what we are going to be drawing from. However, many people release their own prompts during this time. The most interesting part about Inktober is the fact that you're only allowed to draw in black and white. This makes it easy for some people and more difficult for others who are used to working in color. I personally like using ink and dip pens, so it should be fine for me. However, there's always a chance that things can go wrong. Every time Inktober rolls around, I always mean to begin at the beginning of the month and stay consistent with it. However, I usually end up leaving it to the last minute or not completing any at all, which is what happened this year. I left everything to the last minute, so I decided to make a fun little challenge where I complete all of the drawings in a single day. I will have to warn you that this one-day challenge does span over 2 days, and that's simply because today is the 30th, and half the day has already gone by. So half of this challenge will be on the 30th in the evening, and the other half will be on the 31st in the morning. All within a 24-hour span though. In order to prepare, I bought a dip pen with several different nibs, which also came with this Master's Touch manga ink. So that's what I'm gonna be using to do all of my drawings. For all of them, I'm using the same sketchbook. It is this mixed media sketchbook, which is also Master Touch. I will say that I did get my art supplies from the place that we're not supposed to get art supplies from. However, I just didn't have any other options at the time, and in the future, I will be buying online or buying from a different store. Anyways, let's get into it. So the first prompt was backpack. When coming up with ideas, I was really attached to the idea of having a fantasy character with either a flower or mushroom cap on their head with a backpack that was way too large for them. You can see some of the sketches I did right here. This is especially the one that I ended up latching onto and the composition that I ended up using for the main piece, as well as a more detailed version of it down here. So what I ended up with was a pretty cute drawing of a girl with the mushroom cap, and I ended up adding a little pet ladybug in order to keep her company. Here's how the day one prompt drawing turned out. I thought it ended up looking really cute, and I named the girl Myra and the little ladybug Ben. With almost all of the days being travel themed, I thought it would be interesting to have all of my drawings revolve around the two characters. Something that I thought was interesting with all of the prompts this year is that they all seem to be related to travel in some way, except for one, which is violin. This really threw me off whenever I read it because we have multiple prompts that almost mean the exact same thing, like trek, hike, roam, expedition, stuff like that. And then at the end, we just have violin smashed in between navigator and landmark. I don't know if anyone else feels like this, but it really seems to me like they might have ran out of ideas for travel-related prompts and just needed an extra filler word. Though even though that prompt doesn't fit the overall theme, I'm still going to do my best with it. For day 2, the prompt was discover. So I thought it would be interesting to have them look up and see something magical. Originally, I was going to have them stand on lily pads while there were frogs floating in the distance, but eventually I changed it to have fish flying through the sky. Here's how the first 5 drawings turned out. This is the first one, again, that I showed you earlier. This is how the second one turned out, with them looking up at the sky and seeing the fish. And then for day 3, it was boots was the prompt. So I had them walking in the rain while each of them were wearing boots. Now for day 4, the prompt was exotic. So I thought it would be interesting to have them look up at this ostrich looking thing that was made of wood. I thought that it fits the fantasy theme and reminds me of something exotic. Then for day 5, it was binoculars. So I thought it would be interesting that as they go along, we see a giant pair of binoculars and we can see Myra's eyes through the holes. So it's now the 31st in the morning. It's around 7 in the morning. Hi guys. It's around 7 in the morning and I only have 5 of the 31 prompts done. So I really need to speed it along. At the rate that I'm going, I'm not sure how long it would take me to actually complete the challenge. So I'm going to speed it along and try to complete 1 prompt for every 10 minutes, I think. This is me editing right now. I don't know why I was so delusional to think that I could complete an entire drawing in 10 minutes for every single drawing, but that did not happen at all. I didn't end up finishing the challenge until the 3rd of November. This is me drawing the day 7 prompt. This one was passport, so I am drawing Myra and Ben standing in the front of the line to use their passports to get into whatever place they're going to. Now, this is one of the drawings that I felt the least proud of. I felt like everything kept messing up on this, whether it be with an ink splotch in a place that I didn't want it to be, or the fact that I messed up with the proportions on the eyes. I just really don't like this one. I feel like there wasn't as much effort put in as I could have put into it. But regardless, I still pushed through it. Here are the drawings for the days 6 through 10 prompts. Right here, we've got our day 6 prompt, which was truck. I just have a simple drawing of them going through a desert. And then I have the day 7 prompt, which is what I was working on in the time lapse. Here you can see what I was talking about with that ink splotch. Really, I just didn't mean for it to happen. And we've got the 2 different sized eyes, which I really wasn't happy with. Other than that, we have the day 8 prompt hike. And I included those fish from the other drawing in the sky. And it's just Myra with a walking stick going up a hill while Ben is cheering her on. Then for day 9, it's just sun, so I had them looking at a cliff over at the sun with the scorching heat. And then for day 10, we had nomadic. Now, I did film this one for a YouTube short, so if any of you have seen my shorts, you might have seen this one already. It's just them singing along while they're walking. The drawing you're seeing me do now is for the day 15 prompt, which was guidebook. This one I feel like I had a lot more fun with. It's just a simple drawing of Myra looking at a book while Ben is sleeping on her lap, though I still think it turned out very cute in the end. The original plan was to do 15 drawings on the 30th and 15 drawings on the 31st, though obviously this didn't happen. So what actually happened was that I did 5 drawings on the 30th. I ended up doing 10 drawings on the 31st, another 10 on the 1st, and 3 drawings each on the 2nd and the 3rd. The reason why it took so long was because I had originally planned for the 30th to entirely be about doing these drawings. However, there was a lot going on during that day, and the rest of the days I had work for 10 hours each day, so I only was able to get a few drawings in per day. But even if I didn't do it all in one day, if I count all of the time that it took me to complete these drawings, it was about 17 hours. And considering the fact that the past 4 years has been spent avoiding Inktober, I'm very happy with how I was able to complete it this year. These are the days 1 through 15 drawings. This is day 11, which was snacks. I just had them sitting around a little fire while they were eating snacks from their bag. And then for the day 12 prompt, it was remote. So I had them looking at a remote island while one of those fish were in the sky, very close. I think it turned out pretty good. And then horizon, again looking at horizon line, this time in a boat going towards the island. And then day 14 was Rome. I had her leave her bag behind next to the boat. That way I didn't have to draw it again. And they're just going through grass. And then guidebook. This is the one you saw me draw in the time lapse. And the book says Remote Magic Islands for Dummies. Anyway, this one is my favorite by far. I think it's very cute. If you ever attempt this challenge for your own sanity, I recommend pacing yourself. Even though it was really fun to complete so many drawings in such a short amount of time, it really led to me feeling burnt out, and I wish that I would have had the time to think about what I truly wanted to happen for each day instead of going with the flow like I did. If I do this challenge again next year, I definitely will pace myself instead of cramming it in such a short amount of time. I'm going to go ahead and show you the rest of the drawings that I did, starting with day 16, which was grungy. I had them walking through a slime river, and then on day 17, the prompt was journal, so I had Myra drawing this creature that she found that had the body of a deer and the back of a ladybug, while Ben looks at her. And on day 18, the prompt was drive. Now, I didn't know what to do because she doesn't drive a car, so I just had her find an old broken down car with flowers growing in it. On day 19, the prompt was ridge, so I had the deer looking at her walking on a ridge. And then on day 20, it was uncharted, which I had her looking into this cave with a portal at the back. Here are the days 21 through 25 prompts. The first one was rhinoceros. I had her step through that portal in the cave, and it presumably took her to another continent. For day 22 prompt, it was camp, so I had her camp out while it was raining. And they're asleep, you can see. So the day 23 prompt was rust, so I had them walking past a field with a rusty sword in a stone nearby. And then for the day 24 prompt, it was expedition, so I had her looking off into the distance with this large mountain, presumably to go there. For day 25, it was scarecrow. So I had her walking past this field of strawberries with the scarecrow in there. I was really inspired by Steven Universe for this one and the strawberry field. These are the rest of the prompts, starting with day 26, camera. I wasn't really happy with this one. And then we have day 27, road, which she is going on a road and over a ravine. And then day 28 was jumbo. So I had her looking up at this mountain with a jumbo snake wrapping around it. For day 29, it was navigator. I had it to where the snake was guiding her into the cavern, showing her where to go. Then for day 30, it was violin. So she's entering the cavern and walking past the statue of a person playing violin. And the last day was landmark. I had her looking up at this ancient city in the cavern, and with a fitting way to end Inktober. So with Inktober done, I'm going to take a well-deserved rest and a well-needed nap. If you ever try Inktober yourself, I don't recommend doing it in a couple days with only a couple hours per day, because it really led me to make drawings that I wouldn't say that I'm proud of personally. I know next year I'm definitely going to get an early start, so we'll see how that turns out. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.